Don't unmute, please. Silent. I'm sorry, I had already asked Russell.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that was okay.
Now they can battle.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Alright, this is the city commission meeting at 6 o'clock, Thursday, March 25th, 2021. Our invocation tonight will be given by Russell Brazil, and I would ask Mayor Pro Tem DePlantis to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, City Manager, Commissioners. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we just ask that you be with us this evening as our city leaders start making the decisions to move our city forward. Lord, we just ask for a blessing over our city of Tucumcari, getting to the point to where the COVID virus is more and more less. Lord, we just give you all the praise in the world for bringing us out, keeping us going forward. Tonight, we ask for your blessings. In your heavenly name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem DePlantis.
Here.
Commissioner Moya.
Here.
Commissioner Gamera.
Here.
Commissioner Arias.
Here.
Mayor Litchfield.
Here. Next is considerations of changes or deletions to the agenda.
Yes, ma'am. I ask that we remove item 4C, approval of special commission meeting minutes for March 19th, 2021. And item 7B underneath new business. That is the agreement with the city of Tucumcari and Tucumcari Public Schools regarding the baseball and softball complex. That is not ready at this time, and I'll explain a little bit more during item 5A.
Okay. All right, I would entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I would like to see the management agreement between rural development and the city of Tucumcari be deleted until we have time to have a work session and go over it, because this is an Intel contract. And I didn't even know, I thought we had gotten rid of the chaparrals, but I guess they're still under us. I thought they were going to take it over. And some of the things in that contract are not the best. And I think we need to look at it. And I think we need to have a work session.
So if that's the case, we may have to have a special commission meeting April 1st, because there's subsidy on the line that could come back on the city as a liability. You're right, originally we had asked that we get rid of the chaparrals and you wanted to keep them, Commissioner Moya. So now we're in a tight spot, so I agree we do have to meet on this, and I'd recommend having a special commission meeting on April 1st.
Well,
If not,
I
the
think
31st.
I think that contract is interesting as can be, you know, and I feel like maybe we need to review it ourselves, have more time for it. This is a big commitment that we're doing there. Actually, in that whole contract, if you look at it, it doesn't matter what happens, whether they rent or not rent or do whatever they want to. They don't care. They just want their money at the end of the day. And so I think we need to look at that. And do we really want chaparrals to manage it? Do we have it? So therefore, I'm asking that it be removed and put in at this point until we have more time to study it.
Is April 1st our earliest opportunity?
The 31st, I mean, we just have to announce it 72 hours in advance.
Yeah, at this point, we're good.
The 1st is the cutoff.
I think if it's something where if there's subsidy at risk, then I think we need to.
Yeah, but why do we wait to the last minute?
And that's what I'm saying, with the subsidy at risk, then if let's meet at our earliest opportunity rather than.
Yeah, but at the same time, this could have been avoided if we would have known ahead of time of the contract.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get it earlier for us so we can talk about it longer.
I agree with Commissioner on this. I'd like to try to meet before the 1st to have some kind of resolution, not in the form of an actual resolution, but some kind of solution to this as soon as possible prior to April 1st. So if we can make an announcement tomorrow, advertise on the website and through the paper and everything we need to, and come up with a date and time that fits for the commission.
And I asked my fellow commissioners to look at it, at the contract, and decide whether we really do, we will uncheck do we really want the chapter, what is it, Monarch to really run and look at that contract, the enticement of the contract? At this point, thank you.
So what day, do we do that later, or you wanna do it now? Deciding on what day?
I think we need to decide now because we have, to realistically advertise by tomorrow to meet the 72-hour criteria.
Okay,
Anything before the first, I won't be able to make it, and the first is even questionable. I've got some issues I gotta take care of with the medical. And the first, I have an appointment, but I don't know what time I'll be back in town.
So you're not available on the 31st?
What about the 30th?
Monday would be the only time that's kind of too late now.
and I can't be here Monday.
Now, I can come in off the phone, you know, I don't have a problem with that.
We can make that happen.
I won't be in the area.
I guess I didn't realize that.
It's next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what day, 31st or the 30th?
All right, I think whatever.
Good. You said you can do the 30th over the phone?
I can do it over the phone at any time. You know, I just won't be in the area. The first, I could be in the area, but I don't know what time I'll be back.
And the 30th is the earliest day we can, correct?
Yes.
I'm fine with the 30th.
I don't really care.
Mary, you said you had a day restriction as well?
Well, I don't wanna be here on Monday because I'll be out of town and that would be getting back in on Monday, so.
What time?
I don't have a clue what time I'll get back in. So I will be here late, probably on the 29th, and I could be here probably on the 30th or the 31st. Either one.
I said we schedule it for the 31st. March 31st, do we want it
Oh,
after
that's it.
hours or do we want it midday?
I don't care. To me, it doesn't matter. I'll make myself available.
Paul's the one that would not be able to come if it was midday.
Yeah.
True.
You can come in the orange truck. Get off.
And you wouldn't either, would you?
Correct. I would need,
An evening.
yes,
On
ma'am.
a Wednesday.
So we
Yes.
need an evening.
Shoot for 31st. and
Is that
sometime?
kind of too close though? Because the agreement needs to be signed and approved before April 1st?
Correct.
Can we put it on the agenda for the 31st then? For the special meeting, can we put
So I
that?
guess that was my
Yeah.
question. Would it be just a work session or is it gonna be a
It's a
commission
special
meeting,
meeting.
special
Yeah.
commission meeting?
I think it needs to be both. I think we have to have a discussion prior and then decide what we're gonna do that night.
Let me ask you a question. Why do we wait so long, till almost to the deadline before this was brought up before the commission?
That's when I received it from Monarch. And
Well,
it said the thing of the essence was, the second form in this package, which was dealing with that subsidy. If not, then we risk not getting that subsidy.
but the whole idea, they're managing it, they're giving us just someone, the contract with us, unless to go ahead and approve without going over, it, especially a detailed contract like that, that's a real estate contract. It's, that's not good management right now, I can tell you that.
So we'll have, on the 31st, have a work session at 5 and meeting at 6.
I think we could have it both at once at 5 o'clock. Just have an item discussion and then action item.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5 o'clock for both. I mean, just 5
Are you
o'clock.
available?
Yeah. On the 31st.
Yes.
Yes. I will put the notice out tonight.
That's 5 days from now.
All right, now, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda, as corrected, taking out item 4C, 7B, and 7C.
I'll make that motion that we approve the agenda as corrected.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Guerrero,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
okay. Next is public comments. I guess we don't have any public here tonight. Okay, nobody signed up. Next is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is approved by a single motion. Any member of the commission may request an item be transferred to the regular agenda from the consent agenda without discussion or vote. So I would ask for you to approve the work session minutes for March the 11th and the commission meetings for March the 11th.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda with items A and B.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Guerrera,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Webb.
Yes.
Okay, number 5 is ordinances. Ordinances, resolution 2021-09, resolution amending the resolution 2021-04, authorizing approval for the donation of real property to the Tucumcari Public Schools.
Fine, hold on a second.
That is on page 4 of 55.
Right. This one.
I'll be presenting that, Mayor.
Page
Yes.
4, hold on a second, let me get there. Page 4 of 55.
Yes, sir.
It's in section 5.
I'm in section
You're on the
four.
right page.
I got page 3, 55.
Turn it over.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Madam Mayor, as a point of order on the agenda, it's listed as 2021-04. In the packet, it's listed as 2021-09.
So it says on my agenda.
Right. Yeah, it's
It's-
resolution,
Oh,
because
so
we are amending
It's
Oh, I understand.
resolution 2021-04.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Sorry about
Yeah, that's all right.
that. I'm reading the wrong part.
Don't confuse me.
Don't confuse me.
You taught me science, not how to read.
That's right. Okay, here we go, Mark.
Alrighty, so like it states, we are correcting resolution 2021-04. There was an incorrect property description listed in that resolution. This resolution is put together a little bit better in regards to, we're waiting until the schools actually provide a survey. The issue, after doing some research, is the parcel of land is larger than just confined to the area that we're donating or wishing to donate to the public schools. And it includes some of the property associated with the convention center. So after speaking with Superintendent McKinney, we agreed that it was in the best interest of both parties to go ahead and change some wording in the resolution that this is contingent on the results of the survey. And they needed some kind of obligation from the city to show that we are willing to donate it, and that's in the form of this resolution. We've attached the document that shows the highlighted portion of the fields they would receive. That's what the survey is going to be based on. Once the survey has been completed, we'll then use that property description and plug that into the agreement that we have struck from the agenda tonight. And then there's a few other things that we'll have to go over in detail. Since it's quite lengthy, I'd like to possibly have a work session to discuss that once we get to that point. There are other things in the agreement, for example, closing on the agreement. It states in the agreement that we must close 15 days after we sign off on the agreement, which isn't going to happen. That's why.
Well, but it also states in that contract that it can be extended
Correct.
without penalty, so it's okay in that contract.
Correct, but we're still far ways from closing on that contract because I think we need the actual property description. What the schools were needing at this time to get approved tonight was this resolution to show that we are still willing to donate the property. Then at that point, they'll take care of the survey at their expense, and then we move forward with the next step.
Go ahead.
Okay, in reading the contract that we're not discussing tonight, there is a clause in there that clearly, this says it's a quiet title. But then if you look at the description, it's looking more like a warranty deed where we're guaranteed the title because all the requirements they want us to do. But then you go back to an area in the contract where it says that in case this falls through and does not become reality for the schools, that the city is to reimburse the survey and some other costs. That needs to be clarified before we go forward, because I do not want the city to be paying for any survey. If it goes through, we don't have a problem, but if it doesn't go through, then we do have a problem because we do have to pay for it. So,
And we don't have to worry about that, Commissioner Moya, because we have.
but it's in the other, on whatever you call back here, you know,
On the agreement.
on the agreement. And so this is important because we shouldn't have to pay anything if we donate anything. And if they took a chance and if it didn't go through, we shouldn't have, and it did not go through, we shouldn't have to pull our pockets and have to pay for the surveying at all.
And I agree with that. And so far, like I said, we have not approved that agreement, which we're not obligated to refund them any money. This is just simply stating that we wish to donate the property to them, contingent on the property description, the legal description, once we get the survey. And they've agreed to pay for the survey.
Okay, because it does say quiet title, quiet claim.
It's a
I
quick
think
claim deed.
Quick claim deed, which is not, which is a difference between a quick claim deed and a warranty deed. And if you look at that, well, we'll discuss on the other thing, because that's something I want to be very touchy about. And the other thing is, if it does not go through, I don't think the city should be paying for anybody's survey, regardless whether they have it or not have it. And that should be, we'll talk about that when that agreement comes up too.
Correct, I agree.
Okay.
Okay. So, any more discussion? Anybody else? Okay, so I would entertain a motion to pass resolution 2021-09, amending resolution 2021-04.
I'll make a motion that we pass resolution 2021-09, amending resolution 2021-04.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Moya?
Yes, with the objections I put in. Thank you.
Commissioner Gamila?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question regarding Commissioner Moya's
I
comment.
need point of clarification on that.
A point of clarification on the agreement that hasn't been approved yet, not necessarily clarification on the resolution, because we're just approving the resolution. There's no
Okay, as long as it's
agreement attached to it.
understood, it's a quick claim deed and not a warranty deed.
Right, and that's what the resolution
It's
states.
in there, yes.
Yes.
But actually, if you look at the agreement,
Does it
it
say
really,
warranty deed?
it's just a description that we're guaranteeing.
Okay.
That's a warranty deed. A quick
Okay.
claim deed is, we just give you whatever interest we have, and that's it, more or less.
Okay, so the difference between the quick claim, well, the state requires it to be a quick claim deed.
No, okay, yes, good.
So, just for clarification.
We'll discuss the agreement later.
Thank you.
Under old business, we have the acknowledgement of the planning and zoning commission meetings minutes. Did all of you get a chance to read those?
Yes, ma'am.
All we have to do is just acknowledge that we read them. Okay. I'll sign them later.
Okay. Next
is, under new business, we have the memorandum of the MOU regarding mental health feasibility study.
Where is that?
It's under number 7,
Yeah, so.
right here. Okay, Mark?
Yes, ma'am. So recently, towards the end of last year, there was a lot of concern with the well-being of everybody's mental state with COVID. Things had really took a turn for the worse, even in Quake County, where we had seen an increase in suicide rates. And not only for that reason, but the areas that are mentioned in the MOU include Clovis, Portales, Curry County, Roosevelt County, Quake County, Tobacco County. They felt there was a need for a regional inpatient psychiatric hospital and mental health facility. And in doing so, talks had started, there were numerous meetings, and it was decided, I guess, that they wanted to build such a facility in Clovis, New Mexico. But in doing so, they were asking for all these surrounding communities to help pitch in on a feasibility study. I understand there's a great need for this in the region. I'm just not sure if it's not going to be built in Tucumcari, what would be our role as far as providing funds for a feasibility study that wouldn't be conducted here.
Well, that was the one thing I had a question about, because I agree, we do need a facility, but I don't think we need it in Clovis. You know, if we need a facility, if we're gonna put in money, I'd rather have it here.
Yeah.
Or someplace
Oh,
close, you know.
Well, let me explain one thing as I understand. One of the things is in a psychiatric hospital, it's one of the hardest to get. I mean, a psychiatric hospital is, there's only, how is it gonna benefit Tucumcari is the question I have. Because actually, in reality, in working in the field, I'm very familiar with what is required to go into a psychiatric hospital. If we think that we're just gonna place people that are needing mental health out in the community, we're very mistaken. The only way a court or law enforcer or an MD can do, and that's in a committal, that's what we call an emergency committal, is a 7-day commitment. And that's only committed for 7 days because they pose a danger to themselves, they pose a danger to others, okay? So it's not gonna address just our regular citizens who are having psychiatric problems that are what we call SDMI, severe mentally ill, you know what I'm saying? It will make the feasibility of another psychiatric hospital to be available in the region if somebody wants to go in voluntarily. If you go voluntarily, you can also come out, you know. But we also have a hospital in Roswell, better known as Sunrise, that has a psychiatric unit, and we have the state hospital. Our 16%, our 6%, I said, what is Tucumcari? 6% will come out to about 2,000 or 3,300 somewhere. I'm not very good at math. But the whole deal is, I don't see how that psychiatric hospital is going to benefit us. Because the bottom line is that the situation is not that easy to get anybody into a psychiatric hospital. Under the Mental Health Act of 1968, the deinstitutionalization of people made it a lot harder for anybody to be just committed just because we want to be committed. It has to be a danger to himself or another, and there's only the court order, law enforcer, and the MD that can do it. Nobody else can. And so the whole deal is, I don't see how that would benefit Quay County here at all. You know what I'm saying? I think if we had 3,000 and whatever, it'd be a better place to utilize it for something else, maybe jail or whatever. Because right now we don't even have psychiatry that sees our clients in jail. You know what I mean? And so they just house there. And I understand that as it looks right now in the mental health field out here in Tucumcari, what I see is we have the policeman being the crisis interventor who seems to be called for, that's the only person they call, or the jail being the institution that holds it. You know what I mean? And so I don't know how this will ever benefit us because I don't see us having that authority to place people in there, and it's not going to solve our mental health problem. So I'm not for it.
No, we're not either.
Well, Mayor, if I may, I have Mark, from the way you described it, it doesn't sound like you were involved in any of these discussions, is that correct?
I was involved in a few discussions.
With you? Okay, so who was it that came together and decided that Clovis was the place for
I'm not 100%
Clovis.
And I'm going to be honest, I don't care if it's in Clovis or wherever it is. I really would like it here, but I can't. But my objection is not that. My objection is how are we going to benefit from it? Under the Mental Health Act and everything else, it's not just going to take our clients out of the streets that are in need of help. They have the right to also be their civil rights, and they would be violated if you would just yank them and put them in there. It has to be a danger to himself and others, and that's why I say that I don't see how it's going to, from the mental health aspect part.
Well, my question, and Commissioner, you might be the one that can answer it. A feasibility study, isn't that just looking up statistics?
It is.
Do we need to spend $60,000 to look up the statistics? We already know how many people have committed suicide in the area. We know how many people are doing drugs. We know how many people, and we get that from what you're saying, our crisis interventors or our police officers. We've got, because you don't know, and there's no feasibility study is going to find out somebody's private life if they're having some type of mental issues unless something's been involved before. Am I correct?
Yes, correct. And I think what the concept of this is they're trying to do a regional study so they can support it, and also at the same time you can get the metrics they need to write for grants and other stuff. But the whole deal is we have in New Mexico State Hospital, we have Sunrise in Russell that we do, and it's really, really hard to commit somebody just because we want to commit. It has to be a danger to himself and others. And it's not going to help our own mental health crisis that we have in our community.
Yeah.
Unless somebody wants to go volunteer.
Yeah, well, in here, I mean, the feasibility study is just to see if
it works.
if it'll work. I mean, if they can buy the land, if they can recruit the staff, if they can make a profit. The business plan, it has nothing to do with the people in Quay County or Tucumcari. It's to see if Clovis can benefit from it.
Yeah,
Nothing to do with us.
and I understand that part, but at the same time, what I'm saying, and coming from the field that I work so hard in, it'd be very hard for me to understand it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think everybody's in agreement.
so I would entertain a motion to participate in the MOU regarding a mental health feasibility study. Okay, there being no motion made, it fails. That was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Good discussion though.
It was good discussion. All right, next is, let's see.
The city manager.
The city manager. Skip.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start off my manager's report with, on a high note. I'd like to do something we haven't done in quite some time. Things got kind of pushed back because of COVID and kind of pushed to the side for a little bit. We wanted to wait till we were open and able to have employees present to actually go forward and do our Employee of the Quarter awards. I'm happy to announce that we have one of those individuals in the audience tonight. So I wanted to give a few key points on why this individual was nominated and ultimately was a recipient of this award. All Employee of the Quarter recipients do receive 4 hours of annual leave. It's a little incentive for them for doing such a great job. So this individual continuously comes in multiple times on his days off, including 3-day weekends to assist the city. Anytime we have any services out at the cemetery on the weekend. Never has no issues, is always cleaning up and assisting customers, even at the previously at the tree limb place on Coronado Park. It references a specific time of a snow day, and on Veterans Day, when this individual came in to shovel snow for the employees and customers returning that day. He shows up whenever needed, like I said, on the weekends. He's given his 100% in everything that he does with no questions asked. He's a very hard worker, and he's always on time or earlier than needed to be. And with that being said, I've personally witnessed when I go out to the cemetery, this individual's always working hard and do the best he can to make sure that it's in the best condition that it could be there at the cemetery. So without further ado, I would like to present Mr. Robert Lopez with the recognition of outstanding performance for the 4th quarter of 2020. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks for all your hard work. Thank you.
Here we go.
Yeah.
You can get in the picture, Mark, that's all right.
Take it hard.
Thank you. Thank you. That worked.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Robert.
Good job.
Good job.
Great job.
The other individual that received the Employee of the Quarter for the 3rd quarter couldn't be here tonight. This individual quickly learned. He worked for the water department and was the weekend well guy. He's transitioned to working with the crew, and he could operate the Vector truck, the Vector trailer. He's learning how to use the backhoe. He's not afraid of work and would rather be busy than sitting idle. He already knows how to weld and is pretty handy to have around. This individual can run the wells. He has ran the trimmer and sprayer and weed killer around the tanks and is a great worker. This individual, some of these are a bit outdated on the nomination forms just because, like I said, with COVID, they've been pushed back for some time. But this individual has done a great job. He's catching on quickly. He's moved up and received his certification already, his level 1. Great employee all around, very hard worker, and I'd like to congratulate Walter Henson for being the Employee of the Quarter for the 3rd quarter of 2020.
Good job.
A few other items. I wanted to give an update. We might have discussed this kind of maybe on the side conversation, but I wanted to put it out there for everybody listening and watching to be able to see what's been going on in the city of Tucumcari lately. Most recently, last Friday, the City Commission approved an additional $60,000 from the executive side of lodger's tax to pick up the marketing agreement for Bands of Enchantment. I think we've all had a chance to kind of experience to see what that's about. And I know there was a lot of skepticism and worries in the beginning on the quality of this show and what would be produced. I think the majority of us have been able to put that to rest, being able to experience it. It's top-notch, great production, I think it's going to serve well for the city of Tucumcari. I hope that it promotes tourism the way it's intended to do so. I know Bands of Enchantment as a whole, as well as all the artists that have been involved with this program, have been great to work with. They've loved Tucumcari. They think we have so much to offer for our small size. So get out there and support it. Follow them on social media where you can, Bands of Enchantment, the bands, and look to see how they're promoting Tucumcari. The majority of these artists have anywhere from 5 to 20 to 30,000 followers each. And again, we're not relying just on those followers to do that, but this is a platform to get our name out there in Tucumcari. Tucumcari is going to be in everything we see. In the private screening, it was still a rough cut. It didn't have all the promotional commercial items that will be out there, so there'll be even more exposure for us. Lodgers tax, it's utilized and it's paid by the lodgers that come and stay in our local motels. In doing so, we had a strong support from the Lodgers Tax Board as well to go ahead and fund this. I think it's a great opportunity to tap into a market we never had before in a way to really market Tucumcari as a whole, Main Street, Route 66, everything we have to offer. And the lodgers tax, like I said, it comes from the tax that's charged from the local motels and hotels. And it's used specifically to attract tourism to Tucumcari. It's not something we can utilize to fill potholes and do things of that nature. And with that being said, I think that's a perfect segue to roll into some capital outlay funding. I want to give an update on that. Our city of Tucumcari received roughly $388,000. There's some change in there, but I'll just round it. $388,000 for the purpose of planning and repairing streets here in Tucumcari. We definitely appreciate that. That's a good amount of money. However, I just want to be transparent, and as we all have seen with the Second Street project, that'll realistically maybe get one block accomplished. I just want to put it in perspective to let the listening audience know how much it costs to do these things, to pave a street. And that's why we do have our concerns with potholes and whatnot. The other thing that funds potholes is our gas tax. Of course, with travel down during COVID, the gas tax was down. Gas prices are on the rise, so I hope to see some of that tax money come back into Tucumcari so we can utilize it for filling potholes. The other thing that we received through capital outlay was for our senior center, some additional renovations. That was in the amount of $58,000. So again, it's nice to partner with the state and to have that go back into our local senior center. They do a great job out there and provide so much to our community. So I'm very happy to see that get accomplished. So when we are able to open up for the senior center, it's going to be so nice because they've done all the renovations they've done during COVID, which was perfect timing. Since we're shut down to the public, and once it's safe to do so and reopen, seniors will be taken care of with the new remodeled facility, which is amazing. And with that concludes my report. Thank you.
We never got anything for the water line over there?
No, sir. That's the risk we take when we have multiple applications. They funded the one of the lowest priority, but it's still good to get back to the citizens and get some streets repaired.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I was disappointed when I read that we didn't get what we really.
Which there's a backup plan. There's some hopes, maybe there's some other funding opportunities out there to accomplish that, because that is a regulatory issue. We have to take care of that. It's not going to go away. It's an emergency type situation. So worst case scenario, once we get all the fine details about the funding we talked about last time, the 1.14 relief funds we received, it is able to be utilized for water, wastewater, and broadband infrastructure. So there's a few projects that I'll be presenting to the city commission that I'd love to see accomplished. One is being the issue we have out with the lift station and sewer line. And then the other, of course, is we have some concerns with a water line underneath the railroad tracks that we have to update. So more will come in the future work session to discuss the priorities.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, next is items from commissioners. Commissioner Villanueva, start with you.
I don't have no,
Okay,
nothing to say tonight.
All right.
Thank you.
that's all? Okay, Commissioner Moya?
Yeah. What's going on, and I'm gonna keep bringing this up until something's being addressed on, and what's going on with the second and main project over here where we have the street blocking out? And we have doing all these things at the railroad and everything else, but you only got a one-way street there, and we're going on the 6th year, what is it, 5th? 6th year. And, even the concrete is beginning to look bad because of the weeds and everything growing on it, and we can't utilize half of a block there because of the fact is that, especially you said you were working on it, give me some information.
So the information on that is, I've had some conversations with the police chief and we've talked about the priorities in regards to focusing on those properties right now to try to get those moving forward. We did have our code enforcement officer out for quite some time due to an extended illness. So it's in the process of being conducted.
So, can you give me a timeline?
I don't have an exact timeline. We go through a process. Like I said, I started with reaching out to the individual by phone. The next process is letters. And then by the time that gets delivered, we get a response. We'll see what happens from there. If we can't get anything by working with the individual, then that's where we have to take it to the next step and issue a citation.
You don't suppose he's gonna change title to another person before we get there?
I can't suppose on that, but I assume no.
That seems like what happened the last time. Listen, there's a house on, 5, I don't know, it's in the old MR home that's there on 3rd Street. You know, we went through a lot of expense to take care of some houses that were burned and cleaned out because it became a safety hazard. Well, that house is a very nice home, but let me tell you one thing. People have broken all the windows, people are breaking the inside of that house. Is there any way the city can get a hold of the owner and have him boarded out because he has become a nuisance? And not only that, I'm sure it's just a matter of time before somebody burns that thing. I mean, you know, we don't need any more burned homes in that neighborhood area. That's the area that I work. And the last thing I need, we just got through one that we paid $63,000 on, what is it, the 600 block to clear out. And now we're gonna have another one. Something needs to be done where that owner has to come in and take responsibility and board out that home or do whatever he has to do on it. They have no windows. Today somebody was breaking it to pieces in the middle of the day, you know. And we can't have another home set on fire. The one next to it was burned. So we need to see if we can get the owner to come in and board it up, do something, because right now we can't have another home right in the middle of town burned out.
No, and I agree. The one thing I'd like to encourage, I know you called me on that property today. The individuals that reported, it's a lot easier if they call dispatch directly and report when things are happening, because it takes time. If you call me, then I have to relay it over to the police department. The person causing damage could be gone by then. So I'd like to set the precedent that if they call you, if we could just relay to them, the best option for them is to call dispatch. I mean, it's.
Oh, it was the neighbors that were calling me and I called you because and then I went out there and I waited and I saw the sheriff come by, but that's about as, I don't know about the police, how long it took. Somebody said they did see it later on. But you see what I'm saying? It's the way it is.
The police had been out there on 3rd Street previously, prior to that call already. But again, I mean, for the sake of time and making sure things get addressed, it's a lot cleaner if those individuals would call the dispatch.
They're not gonna call, you know, they call the commissioner because they're tired of calling. That's the bottom line. So we have to address the issue of having the owner come in and board out those homes or do something with it. You know, I mean, you can't have another big fire in the middle of town and then have another dilapidated building right in the middle of town and then we can't even clean it like the 2nd and Main. That seems to be a going problem in this town because something's not working. Somebody's not doing their job because that home should have been boarded up by now. I mean, you know, you cannot have a home like that in the middle of town all busted up. Anyway, so, okay, and Howard, there's also another thing I'm not speaking for the commission, but I'm speaking for myself. Is I did call Senator Campos and I'm going to be visiting with him because he keeps talking about the highway district and how they can help us with some of the potholes, but I don't understand it and I can explain to you guys. So I called Senator Campos and I said, I want to meet with you and I want you to explain what you're yakking about, you know what I mean, about this thing, you know. I want to know how we can benefit from it because the bottom line is he tells me all these things and all these things, but I don't understand what he's saying because I don't have nothing to read or anything, so I ask that we meet, him and I, and it's not in reference to representing the city, but I want to understand what he's talking about when he explains to the community that, there's some way we can work with the highway department and see how we can get some more help for our streets as far as some of what they have availability. So I mean, I'm doing it on my own. I'm not representing the city or anybody. I just want to be able to understand what they're doing, what he's talking about, because I don't understand what he's talking about. That's a lot of people, man.
Did they ever check about the warnings?
The millings. Yeah, I think we did.
That's already been submitted.
Yeah.
Other than that, I just like to say Robert Lopez, I'm very proud of him to get this award. He's a good man. He works hard. That's about all I have.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
I want to say congratulations to Robert Lopez and, thank you, Mark, for letting us know about the capital outlay. I, for one, I'm glad that we got something for the streets. Might not be something that we can pave all the streets, but I think the citizens have every right to see us trying to make an effort. And I'm glad to see that it paid off this time, us making an effort. It's been a long year. Almost feels like this month was New Year's, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Some good things are happening. I was taking a good reflection back over this year. In this year, some of us became grandparents. Some of us got married. Some of us were scared to death what was going to happen to our future because of our businesses. And speaking on behalf of a lot of the business owners, a lot of us had to get really creative to try to survive this year. But when you look at the bottom line, the community saved us. And I just want to thank the community tonight for helping us out. That's all I got.
Okay, Commissioner Arias?
Thank you, Mayor. And congratulations to Mr. Lopez, Mr. Henson. We did have that nice little meeting with the, EDC, the Cook County Health Council, and Mr. Zamora with the Disc Golf Course Association. Palomar Park has some great things going on. We have some great things going on in Treat and Carry. I'm glad that we're finally turning the leaf on COVID and we're starting to come back out and be a little bit stronger. I too want to thank the legislature and the governor for their generous $388,000. It's going to make a great improvement. Hopefully we can get a pothole machine a lot farther than we're focusing on one block. As much as I am excited, I am disappointed that we weren't able to get the items that we were actually needing, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
That all?
Yes, ma'am. You have a good day.
Okay, I also would like to congratulate Robert Lopez and Walter Henson. It's nice to see former students grow up and become responsible adults. So thank you very much for both of these young men for working hard. Also too, I would like to say, the Bands of Enchantment has been a real boost, I think, a positive way. And I get really frustrated when I read the comments from the naysayers that want to know why we're wasting our money doing that. It's not a waste of money. It's going to help our GRT, I believe, in a big way this summer. And it puts Tucumcari in a positive light. And so,
Who made the comment?
on Facebook, it was some lady that made a comment that we were just wasting money, just throwing money away by doing that.
It's a larger stack.
Well, I know.
Unless they spend the bit.
Yeah, but still, it's something to gripe about. And, when you don't talk positive about your own hometown, then you're doing more harm than you are good. So anyway, I too have reflected, and I am glad to say I finally got to meet my great granddaughter. So that was great last week. So anyway, but it's been a tough year for all of us, and we're glad that we're on the turquoise. So Tucumcari, stay safe. And thank you again for listening in tonight. Thank you, Russell and Steve, everybody that came, Chief Latham. So anyway, other than that,
I'd just like to also congratulate Walter. I just slipped on my, because I was talking about 5 different things at once.
so yes, these are two fine young men. And I think we're lucky to have them in our employment in the city. So anyway, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes.
Commissioner Ganova.
Yes.
Commissioner Arias.
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes. All right, we're gonna get you to your meeting, Martin.
Thank you.
Turn off your recorders.
Right.